welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to work on some yeast rolls. All right, let's get started. We're going to start out by using our mixer bowl. Into that, we're going to add in 1/2 cup of warm milk. I just stuck this in the microwave for about 45 seconds to get it up to about 140 degrees or so. So warm milk, 1/2 cup. And we're going to also add in 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. There we go. And then we are going to add in 2 teaspoons of instant yeast. Don't worry, I'll get that. 2 teaspoons of instant yeast because we want to get this done quickly. All right. Going to give that a quick little whisk. All right. I'm going to add in 1 egg. All right, 2 for 1 today. So looks like we got a double yolk. In it goes. Give that another whisk. All right, and to that we are going to add in 2 cups of bread flour. So give me a second, let me grab that. So this is where I was supposed to grab the bread flour, and I did, but I added the bread flour into the mix, well, not on camera, so I totally skipped over it and lost the footage. So yeah, I added 2 cups of bread flour to that mix, put it on the mixer, and it's going to mix for 5 minutes. So it's still going, but you want to make sure you scrape down the sides often to get it all incorporated. A few more minutes, we'll be right back. All right, after 5 minutes, this is what it's looking like. And now we are going to add in 2 tablespoons of softened, slightly melted butter. It's supposed to be softened, but I definitely softened it in the microwave, so it's slightly melted as well. And we're just going to let that do its thing for, guess what? Another 5 minutes. Be right back. Okay, it's been 5 minutes, and this is where we are. So we're going to go ahead and stop our mixer. Get our dough off the dough hook. And then we are going to turn this dough out into, shall I say, a greased bowl. Make sure it all gets off. It's a bit sticky, but looks like it's tacky as well. So, all right, we're going to get our bowl. I like to grease my bowls with just like some spray oil, just super easy. Spray it, and then put our dough ball in it. There we go. All right, so we're gonna leave this in this greased bowl. I'm gonna cover it with some saran wrap and a towel. I'm gonna leave it in a warm spot for about the next 45 minutes until it's doubled in size. So we'll be back. All right, just gonna hit on this Glad press and seal. All right, for 45 minutes or so, doubled in size. For me, that's going to be over by our oven. So for our oven, we need it to be preheating at 350 degrees. So I'm going to stick this over there since that's the warmest place in my kitchen. We'll see you guys in about 45 minutes or when this is doubled. All right, we are back. We have been resting for about an hour and we're proofed. I'm just going to punch it down. And now we're going to get some flour and put it on our counter. Get ready to roll it out. Just a little bit of flour. Let me put you down so you can see. A little bit of flour. All right, now we're going to pull this out. Okay, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit more flour on top. Can you see? There we go. All right, now we are going to roll it out. As you can see, the dough is nice and pliable. Before you got to this part, I cleaned this counter off really, really well. Sometimes I do this on a large cutting board as well. But yeah, we went with the counter today. All right, super easy. Rolled right out. Now we are going to cut it in strips. So these are going to be little mini rolls, if you will. So these look like about an inch and a half, 2 inches at the most on the strips. And then we're going to cut those strips into squares. Okay. Now we're going to cut into squares. So it's about well, they're not even, but maybe like a 2 by 2 on the squares. Okay. And then we're just going to take our square and then we're going to form a ball, which is just by folding it under, 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 and then pinch the bottom, and we've got our ball. So I wanted to make these little mini ones, so that's what we have here, little mini balls. We're going to do that a bunch of times, under, 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 and then pinch it at the bottom, and there's our ball. Maybe have a little bit too much flour on the bottom. And I'm doing these just barely touching. But these will be nice pull apart rolls when we're done. Pinch at the bottom. We're going to do that until under, 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 pinch it at the bottom to make our ball. And do that until we're done. With some of these bigger ones, I am going to try something. I might be able to put 2 together in order to do it. Let's do that. I want to try something. So I make these croissant rolls. For croissant rolls, I have to put some butter in it. So I'm going to put these back together. Perfect. And then I'm going to take a pat of butter. I'm going to put it inside my roll. And I'm going to make it into a ball just like I was before. Just a little experiment I'm doing. It works great with the croissant rolls. We'll do those another day. Let's put the big ones on this side. I'll do that with all these little pieces. I'll go back together and make them a bigger one with the butter. But we're going to continue making our little bubbles. Little tiny little bubble balls. I'm going to continue doing that with all of this. As you see, I have them on a lined or baking sheet lined with parchment paper. So I'm going to make a few of these bigger like this with the pat of butter inside. I'm going to continue making my little bubbles with the rest of them as well. And we'll be right back. All right, we are down to our last couple. Last one. Get the pinch at the bottom. All right, now we're done. Let's get rid of this. All right, there we are. So, put that down. So these are just the regular little mini bubbles that I did. And then these are the ones that I made with butter. Just like I said, I'm trying to do an experiment. So now what we're going to do is we are going to let these proof again. So I'm going to cover them with the saran wrap. I'm going to put them over by my oven where it's nice and warm. And we're going to go with the second proof. When they've doubled in size, probably about 30 to 45 minutes. Then we will brush them with milk, and then we'll pop them in the oven at 350. So we'll be back in just a little bit. There we go. All right, it's been about 45 minutes, and they're ready. Now we're just going to brush them with a little bit of milk. Sort of delicate. These are my experiment ones, remember, with the butter in the middle. The milk is just going to help with the browning. I suppose it could be optional, and you can just put them under the broiler for a few seconds when they're done. But here we are. All right, so got those brushed. Now they're going to go into a 350-degree oven for 15 to 20 minutes. All right, we are back. We are out of the oven. I have them in there about 14 and a half minutes. Let's make them a brush. And that would be the 15 minutes up. And I will say that the ones that I put the pat of butter in, they are oozing butter. About time. Alrighty. Let's see what we got. Probably gonna regret touching these, but nice, light, fluffy. Oh, too hot. I'll come back and open one of these in a minute. All right, y'all, they've cooled down a little bit. I'll probably touch it now. This is the one that was filled with butter. Very nice, very nice. And y'all see how nice and soft they are? You're gonna need to try this. Enjoy.